Welcome back to Focus on 5, where we are celebrating 70 years of WNEM TV5. Please enjoy this look back at TV5's rich history and legendary broadcasters who have made us who we are today.
After 54 days of picket lines and negotiations, a tentative agreement has been reached between the United Auto Workers and General Motors.
Let's go back now to News 5's auto editor Mel Serow, who's been covering the strikes since the moment they began. Mel, what's the latest?
Well, let's recap again the settlement coming late this afternoon. Some of those things that include in those settlements include a one-time payment of 5 days' pay for workers who did not receive their holiday pay because of the strike, and that does in fact include strikers. At the Delphi East plant, a commitment of no sell, no close, good until the year of January 20th, 2000. Also, GM and the UAW will continue, or GM will continue with its $300 million commitment to the Flint Metal Center. The automaker has spent about $120 million and has agreed to spend the additional $180 million for that plant, giving it modernization and also giving it a future. Now, a lot of the concern and talk in this strike was over commitment, and that was also a concern of the union. Commitment both now and in the future.
Agreements with these local unions, and you have to stand up and recognize you made these agreements. And in my view, once you make an agreement, and that goes for us as well, we have to live by it.
We regret, as we've said before, in being forced to call the strike that has impacted so many people. We said to start with it was unnecessary and avoidable. We continue to believe that is the case.
Now, GM and the UAW have also agreed to put into place a kind of a process that should they start having problems, that they will continue to meet at the highest level. The union and the president and the chairman meeting, and the vice president and the vice presidents of the union and GM also meeting, so that they can in fact solve those problems before they in fact reach the crisis level and have a situation like we have here in Flint. The arbitrators that 4 days spent listening to both sides to determine if these strikes were in fact legal, we'll never know. That arbitrator won't be rendering a hearing because based on the ratification of this, they will ask that the arbitrator not rule in this case. The question for General Motors, was it all worth it? That was what was asked of Gerald Knechtel, their vice president.
I think the measure of whether or not this strike was worth it will come in the long run, and it'll be measured by how effective the union and General Motors is in finding a better way to focus constructively on improvement for both institutions.
We are told that the workers at both Delphi East and also at Local 659, the Flint Metal Center, will get their first looks at exactly what they will find in those agreements. 9 a.m. at the Whiting Auditorium for Local 651. For Local 659, that will be at the IMA, that to be held at 10 a.m. So they'll get an explanation of the agreements, and then they will in fact be asked to vote on those agreements. And should they give a favorable ratification, should they ratify those agreements, we could see people returning possibly at 6:51 by the second shift, and by 6:59 they could be returning in fact by the third shift. So after 54 days, it's over. The union, at least on the surface right now, until we get a better understanding of these, apparently getting what it set out to do.